Okay. All right, welcome everyone to Van Go For It with our featured artist and original Tina. Tina, thank you again for hosting us on this Sunday. And if you guys want, we're this month for the month of April, we're doing every Sunday at 3:30. Most likely that's going to be the schedule for May and June as well, but we'll keep you posted. Really excited about today. I'm going to pass it over to Tina because today we are going to be talking about the color wheel. All right, Tina, what do you have for us?
All right, guys. One of the most important things when you're painting is obviously having some knowledge of color. And if you don't, you're gonna learn. You're just gonna learn. It's kind of like cooking. How much salt do you use? How much garlic? Yeah, you just kind of learn along the way. Um, it is important to do color studies, is what I would call it, where you're trying to figure out, color schemes. Um, and that's just so that you can have harmony in your painting and cohesion and all those big art words. So, what we're going to start with is the basics. Red, blue, and yellow are obviously the primary colors on the color wheel. Do you know, Tiffany, who invented the color wheel and when that was?
No, I'm hoping it was a woman. Was it a woman?
Unfortunately, no. No, I'm sure it was taken from her as well.
Yeah, I was about to say probably. All right, so where's the color wheel? Where's the origin of the color wheel? Hit me.
Sir Newton came up with it in
Oh,
1666. But yeah, so when you start with thinking about color theory, there is an entire science behind using color and the art of color, or the art of using color. So starting at the basics is definitely a must. You primary colors are things that you're taught back in, primary school. And from there, you're just like, oh yeah, these two colors mix make this color. And it's not until you actually dive into any kind of art class or art theory of your own taking later in life or even in high school, that you start learning about other colors. And I mean, they might teach this stuff in elementary school. I really don't know the curriculum of art now in school. I'm just glad they still have art. Really am.
right.
'Cause
We'll celebrate,
yeah, who
celebrate the
knows?
wins.
Who
Yeah.
knows when that's gonna change. So yeah, we're gonna start. And I've already prepped my canvas. You can have just canvas paper if you want. You can use regular sketch paper. You can use watercolor for this. You can use acrylic. We're going to go with oil and canvas. So I've prepped my canvas with two different circles and then one large circle because you can do either way. When you're doing a color study, you really want to work with what's best for you. And it's going to take a couple tries probably to figure out what it is that makes it so that the information is understandable to you. So what I'll do is I'll start with a small one with just the primary colors, which are red, blue, and yellow. And so all I'm gonna do, I've got on my canvas paper, red, blue,
Ooh.
and yellow, and we're just gonna fill in. And I don't have triangles marked on here for this, but just think of a pie, right? Just gotta think of a pie. So we're gonna cut this into three, and then I'll do it on the big one as well. I've kind of got the outlines there. So I'm just using mineral spirits and the oil paint. I'm not going anything fancy today. And the mineral spirits is just to thin the paint up so that I can have a lot of liberty to mix on the canvas or on my palette paper. So we're just going to go ahead and go in and make some blue. We're gonna color this part right here blue. Just so
I have
happens.
red on my paintbrush, and I'm just like, I just came to a complete halt because I'm like, wait, can I paint a red triangle in this circle instead of a blue triangle? I'm doing it. I'm going rogue the first stroke. All right, I'm doing it. Oh God.
Like, wait, you started out of order, Tina.
Oh God.
Red, blue, yellow. Sounded
It's
like
just funny how quickly my brain was like, do not proceed until you have permission. All right.
wait for it. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter which one you place down first. I'm just happy that you're able to place paint on the canvas today. Welcome to painting on Sundays. It's It's wonderful, really. So yeah, get your blue on there or your red, and then go ahead and fill in if you've got one circle specifically for the primary
Okay.
colors, go ahead and fill in your other two. And I mean, that's just going to put the paint on the canvas so you see primary colors. Now on my big circle, I might have to draw some lines in here so I know where I'm going. We'll go down the middle and we're going to do primary, secondary, and attempt the tertiary colors on this big one, okay?
Woo!
And
Right.
we have primary, which is red, blue, and yellow. What do those make?
Red, blue, and is that purple? What do red, blue,
Red,
and
blue make violet is what they'll go with.
yeah, violet.
Yellow and red make anaranjado, orange, one of my favorite Spanish words. And then blue and yellow make green.
Green.
Okay, let's see.
All right.
That means I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 slices of pie here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And see, it's not perfect, but I'm doing it. Well,
It's happening. It's happening.
it's going down, guys. And then we'll make this other little circle for primary and secondary. I think that's enough. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in all my blues on all my circles. And you can do your reds if you're using red first. And the purpose is just like I said, to get the colors on canvas so that we can practice understanding the colors, and then of course mixing the colors. Color theory ties a lot into mixing. There's so many different colors you can make by mixing colors together. And the whole purpose of this was because, you know, back in 1666 in my heyday, they they didn't have paints that were pre-mixed like we do now, because you can go buy green and you can go buy purple and you can buy yellow ochre, which is not
Yellow ogre. Well, I mean, yeah, but it's definitely going to be helpful to know before I start mixing what I'm getting myself into,
yeah, for sure.
because sometimes you run out and it's like,
Yep. And I mean, remember I talked early on about like, and I'm probably in every episode actually, about making colors so that they're not muddy.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. If you've already probably experienced this, Tiffany, but when you're
yeah,
painting and your colors become muddy, you're like, what in the world? How did I get that? How do I
yeah,
get rid of that? How do I not get that color again? So practicing color studies and looking into color theory is something that's going to help with that. And it's kind of like, you know, the learning process. Like I compared it to cooking. It's exactly like learning how to cook.
yeah. Like I would compare that to where the amount of black that I try to use is like the amount of garlic I try to use, and each time it's way too much. Like, when am I going to learn? Like, that's
Can you really have too much garlic though? I mean,
yes, absolutely. It's possible. Trust me, it's
yeah.
possible. I've done it. I continue to do it. I have not learned my lesson.
So do you have all forms of garlic?
I have minced garlic in the fridge. I have like whole garlic. We're growing garlic right now in our garden. Garlic powder. Is there
Nice.
any other way I can get garlic? Because I'll get garlic though.
Yeah, garlic powder, minced garlic, whole garlic, shaved garlic,
Oh yeah, they have the squeezy garlic too now. Oh,
squeezy
they even have
garlic.
it
Yeah.
frozen. They even have it
Oh,
frozen now in the grocery
see,
store. I saw that the other
we'll have to up our game, aren't we?
day. All right,
Yeah,
blue
no,
is next.
it's
Blue,
definitely
blue, blue.
cooking for sure, and understanding how much color to use and when to use it. So if you need a good analogy, like, and you're sitting there trying to think, when am I supposed to add more yellow, get this color green or whatnot? You kind of just want to practice your color mixing. And I don't recommend doing it with like your expensive paint.
Yeah,
Watercolor is probably the cheapest one to learn to mix with. but not all paints mix equally. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
You can have a color that's really rich and deep in pigment, and it's not going to make what you think, even though it's labeled, hey, this is red, but it might be labeled like, what did I have? Alizarin crimson. Like, there's a different kind of pigment in that than just red.
Yeah.
So yeah, just keep that in mind. And red, red. Now, when you're painting with oil paint like I am here, like I said, I just use mineral spirits. We're not getting real fancy with it and making it all glossy. We're just trying to get paint on the canvas here so we can understand
Yes.
how the colors are working. So don't over
And that's why I
over.
love these Sunday Van Gogh for It classes, because it just gets you to the canvas,
Yes.
gets you painting, gets me here.
Now, yellow is a fun one to work with because I've already dipped my brush in red and blue and cleaned it off. But for the most part, it doesn't really affect getting the paint where it's like movable on the canvas, malleable, I guess is the word.
Hmm.
Um,
Moving, moving, moving. Ooh, I'm opening up a new yellow, Tina. Maybe you have a tip for me too. When I open these oil paints, is there any way to avoid that like initial splash of oil all over the place?
what I usually do if the tube is like, if it's like a metal tube like this, I'll squeeze it down away from the tip of that and just kind of massage it a little bit.
Okay.
And when you do that, that will hopefully mix that up. Just you got to try to squeeze it away from the tip. Let's see what kind you have. You have the like this. You
Just
have this.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I just try to squeeze it away from that, and then mix it right at this part right here, so that
Okay.
it's mixing it pretty good. And then what I'll do is I'll either squirt it out in one big puddle or in a line. That way I can mix that into the, because all it is
Oh,
excess
gotcha.
oil.
Gotcha. Okay.
All you gotta do is squirt it out and kind of mix it in together.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Um, Another
Okay.
good way is to apply pressure when you're squeezing the paint out of the tube. Apply pressure to it on your palette paper. And
Oh,
then
gotcha. Gotcha.
what that's going
Yeah.
to do is going to allow it to kind of curl back
Okay.
into the tube.
Yeah. There was definitely some space between it and the palette paper last time, and there was a little bit of paint that got escaped. We don't want any paint to escape. We don't want any escape. All right.
No.
Ooh.
So we've got red, blue, and yellow on both of those. I'm going to go over to this one. And I mean, I might not be doing this exactly like it should be done, just like evenly. And I don't know if that annoys some people, like if it has to be even. But I mean, I welcome you. I welcome you to be as anal with your lines and circles as you want to be, because this is your color study. This is something that you're going to have on your studio wall or your art room
Mhm.
wall, so you can refer back to it. So please, by all means, get annoying with it. Um, so I did yellow last so that I can mix orange.
Okay.
And here's how I'm mixing this so that you can kind of get a point of reference. I just put more mineral spirits on my brush and go to a different spot, right? And all that yellow that's already in the brush, that's loaded in there, is on that part right there.
Okay.
When you're mixing colors, it's all about how many parts red and how many parts yellow to make the orange that you want. All we're going for here today is to make orange. We're not making Tennessee orange, and we're not making,
Gotcha.
a specific type of orange. We're just making orange. And so I'm going to pull from the red from the outer circle here of my red
Okay.
so that I'm not
Mm-hmm.
contaminating all of this, because I still have to mix red orange and red violet and have to pull from that pile of red. So I don't want to
Okay.
muddy up my paint
Outskirts. We're on the outskirts.
on the outskirts.
Okay.
And then when you're doing these color studies and you're mixing your colors together, you're going to figure out which paints mixed together make more of an opaque paint and which ones do not. And what I mean by that is yellow is obviously going to make an opaque paint. It's going to be sort of pastel-like. Pastel-like.
Okay. Ooh.
And so you can go
My
as orange as you
orange is,
want, or you can go as yellow as you want.
ooh.
Or as red as you want.
Ooh, I forgot to take a picture. Let me take a picture. Oh, yeah. All right, let's see here. Taking a picture of my progress, like I was
All right.
told. Look at
You
I'm
do it
following.
all good remembering that. Because sometimes I don't know.
Like doing it. I'm doing it. All right. There we go. All right. Back at it. Here we go. Now. Oh, I see what. Oh, hold on. Hold on, Tina. All right, so we have to approach this a different way because I'm just now realizing that you need space. I just colored like listen. It's been a long weekend. All right. So what I did is all my circles look the same. I have red, blue, and yellow in all my circles. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use the orange paint I created and make a triangle overlapping my red and yellow circle for okay, I got you. I'm tracking. All right.
Totally do that.
Don't
Another fun
don't
color
mind me.
study. No, you're good. You're good. Another fun color study, if you really want to get into um mixing your colors and using the Galkid, is
Uh-huh.
to I remember doing this and it was painstaking, okay? It was painstaking in art school, but you make a chart of all your colors and then you take those colors and you do layers because Galkid is meant for layering. It's meant to go over top those colors to see how
Uh-huh.
you can change it. So you get the Galkid and you layer over top each of those colors with each of those colors. And so I mean I remember painstakingly because you have to at that point in art school, you have to make 1-inch squares and put
Yeah,
all the paint and then do the next one. I mean, it was a painstaking process. But that's a really fun color study to do to be able to see how layering oil paints with Galkid changes the color of your paint and
gotcha.
what that looks like on canvas. So if there's a certain like overlay color that you want, like say you want forest green and you want that to look well, you're gonna layer it, but you want it to look like the deepest part of that is like below the surface or above the surface, like in a weird 3D dimensional painting or something,
Yeah.
where layering those colors is going to come into play. That's a more extensive process. We're just working on the circle right now.
That's 2028. That's
We'll revisit that one maybe 6 months down the road, but just doing the chart is a painstaking process. So that's like an entire
yeah,
video.
yeah. I was gonna say that sounds like I'm gonna like have somebody that I know that's really meticulous like chart it off for me and then I can fill
For
it in.
sure. For
That's what
sure.
it's there's rulers involved. I don't know.
All right.
Okay,
So,
well I have a circle. I have a circle now that has red, blue, yellow, and orange in it.
all right. Now you can go in and do your violet and do your green.
Okay. So in the same circle?
Yeah, so like in this circle here, this is primary, these are
Yeah.
secondary, and this is all gonna be all of them on
That one's
mine.
gonna be all of them.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So
Like I said,
I'm not gonna touch this primary one anymore. I'm
right.
gonna do the violet in my secondary,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna do that. Where does the violet one go?
So the violet one is gonna go, it's red and blue mix, so it's gonna go between red and blue.
Between red and blue.
And then your green is green, or I mean blue and yellow mix, so that's gonna go, that green will go between the blue and the yellow.
Between red and blue. Okay, I got this. I got this.
You
I
got it.
got all right. This. I need like one more between red and blue. Okay, we're gonna do this right here. Maybe. Okay. the sun's like glaring down on it, so I can't really see what I'm doing, but it's gonna happen.
You're making it happen, Captain.
It's gonna happen. I'm gonna mix it. Surprise, surprise, I'm mixing on the canvas.
Boy.
Let's see. Uh, so I got too much going on this table. All right. Let's see. My red and blue together just look like a brown grossness.
Let's see what you got
Oh,
on
hold
your.
on. Let me move this camera. Let me flip it, flip it, flip it. Okay.
Okay, so you probably have too much of one color. It still looks violet, so that's not terrible. It just looks more blue violet than red violet. So at this
Gotcha.
point, it's how much you're using of each color. And I would keep adding mineral spirits to lighten it or to darken it,
Gotcha.
or don't add to darken it, I mean. But yeah, whenever you're like, I have ultramarine and that alizarin crimson, so we'll see what color
Yeah.
that makes as far as violet goes. My green and my orange, because I'm using lemon yellow, and lemon yellow is super opaque. My
Mhm.
greens, anything mixed with yellow is going to be a little bit more opaque than what I want it to be. But it's because I don't have
Gotcha.
true yellow or like mid yellow. I have lemon yellow,
Lemon yellow.
which is fine with me. I don't mind at all. It just kind of comes out a different green. But
Okay.
and I'm
Well, I
going
will
very
say I've noticed a change in like when I see something like when I saw that and I'm like, that I don't have the panic inside of my heart that I used to have for no reason at all.
yeah.
It's like, no, this is gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right.
Good, good. That's progress I'm like not freaking out about. It's not being what you need it to
It's
be.
yeah, like it's okay that it's not exactly what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, yeah. And as we have learned, that is definitely one of the biggest parts about painting is letting go of what you thought it was gonna do, right? It
Gosh, the
is.
sun in my eyeball. All right, making dangerous
Oh,
moves over here. Dangerous moves. All right, let's try a little bit more red and see what that does over here.
yeah, we're gonna keep doing our primary and secondary colors. And then when you're ready to do the tertiary colors, I can explain how to place those on your color wheel.
All right, it's not exactly center, but you look
Yeah.
good. We're gonna leave you right there. All right. Now we're gonna move on to, ooh, that one's gonna have, what I need my can. Where's my can? Hmm.
What I like to do on the paper, Tiffany, if you're mixing on your paper and not on your canvas, you can even do it on your canvas. But I pull the colors and see I've got the blue on this side and the red on this side.
Yeah.
I'll pull the color either way to see which purple I'm gonna get. And if it's
Oh,
blue,
gotcha.
I'll pull more
Gotcha.
red up. Yeah. And then you just keep mixing like that. And I just dip it in that mineral spirits and see it's changing it from a blue violet to a red violet. So
Gotcha.
one way to help with that and to make sure that you're getting the right mixture that you're going for. Purple to me is like such an interesting color to work with just because I like purple more so, but just little tidbits. I mean, it goes for every color, I suppose, but little tidbits like more red makes it more red violet. Well, I need it just a
Yeah.
tad bit more blue violet than that red violet. So when you get into it, like, and you're working with like monochromatic color schemes, which is just the
Yeah.
same color with different um, shades and tints. Which do you know what a tint, the difference between a tint and a shade is?
I do not.
So a tint is a color that you mix with white,
Okay.
and a shade is a color that you mix with black.
Oh, look at
So
us learning all sorts of stuff today. 10.
I know. And whenever you do color mixing, like I've got this idea for these portraits of like women I admire, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing them in monochromatic color schemes, and I'm painting reductively, which means I think I should do this one. I paint the entire canvas and I wipe away
Yeah.
where the light's at. So then what I'll
Yeah.
do is go in with another tint or shade of that color and add like shadows and more light and things like that to finish the portrait. But the purpose of the monochromatic oh the cats purpose of the monochromatic color scheme is to sort of use that color to portray the characteristics of the person. So like I think the one I
Hmm.
heard of my mom is just that I don't think it's a alizarin crimson. I think it was this magenta color. So
Oh, yeah.
when you paint monochromatically, you're going to go in with different shades and tints to fill in the other colors on that, um, or the highlights
Gotcha.
and shadows on that. So I mean, that's a good painting project to do, and it doesn't have to be portraits. It can be flowers, it can be jars, it can be still life,
Yeah.
it can be whatever you want. But if you're gonna do a color study, a monochromatic color study is a really good way to get used to your paints and your colors and what that looks like for you on canvas. So
Yeah, I like that approach. And then it narrows down the possible combinations too, which is, I think, somewhat makes it more approachable.
yeah, I would agree for sure. And like I said, taking the intimidation out of painting is what most people really want, and it's because they don't. A lot of people don't think that they can paint. They don't think they're an artist. They don't think that it's possible. But Bob Ross did freaking PBS for free so that people knew all you had to do was practice it. All you have to do is show up and do it.
Yeah, I need a little Bob Ross inspiration right now. Thank you, Tina, because I'm like, why can't I make purple? You
So
just put blue and red together? I don't understand.
yeah, yeah. And then if it's too thick, like if you're not seeing the color that you want, add your
Mm-hmm.
mineral spirits and add more of one pigment until you do, but go very, very lightly with it. Start light.
Yeah, I think it's purple. It's just kind of like an eggplant. It's just not the purple that I
Yeah.
envisioned in my mind.
What color red and blue are you using? Like what are the labels?
Oh, that's details, Tina, details. Hold on. Red. It's the only red I had left, which was vermilion.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then what's the blue?
Is
Uh,
it the
where is it?
ultramarine?
Where is it? It's just like a metallic blue
Oh, that's probably what it is if it's metallic.
because it's got shinies or something. I mean,
It'll make the
it's
purple, but it's gonna make it where it's not only has like the metallic glimmer to it, but it does mix differently. So
it
let's
does. I'm gonna try some. I've got cobalt and I've got cerulean to mess with. I can mess with those.
Cerulean's a good one.
All right.
Cerulean's a little more opaque. Cobalt is not as opaque, but cobalt is a very bright blue. I like it as well.
All right. I'll try that. I'll try give that a little mixy mix.
Yeah, so definitely has to do with the metallic part of that paint, and
Yeah.
that's also a really good thing about being an artist or learning to paint at this day and age. Like I said, back in the day when they made these color wheels, they didn't have those colors. They didn't have metallic blue, and they didn't have like
Yeah.
purple readily at hand here
Yeah. You
because I'm
pretty
looking
much
at the
just
bottom.
like they had to use what they had.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I'm not digging it. Nothing is purple.
Let's see if
No,
we can help you with
nothing's
that.
purple. but I'm not gonna hold things up. It's like a muck gray now, but I can always go back. I'll play with it and I'll just go back to the purple
Yeah, you can start
and
over
play
with the
with it.
purple too.
Yeah,
And if you have a different red, you can change up the red as well.
yeah,
Ultramarine blue is like the pretty basic blue. Cerulean blue would be the next step, and then the cobalt blue as well.
gotcha.
Um,
Yeah, I'll just play around with purples after the
that sounds great. Let me grab my
play with
charger.
purple.
Sorry about
All right,
this.
that one's saved.
Um, so I'm gonna let you look at my color wheel here and let me know if you have any questions. I've got primary, secondary, and I'm doing all the primary, secondary, and tertiary colors here, and I'll explain that as far as
Okay.
placement goes whenever you're
As
ready.
placement goes, yeah, I
Yeah.
need to shuffle myself. So I've got my circles and I've got my primary, my secondary, and then basically I have two secondary circles right now, but I'm going to draw a new circle
Okay.
because I need a new circle to, let's see. My setup's a little different, so I'm just trying to navigate the landscape of my area right now. Let's see if I can. Oh, I taped it down. That's why I can't pick it up. Who knew I would need that section? Let's see.
Yeah.
Not me. All right. Here we go.
All right. So what I have going on here, and I'll just explain while you're getting
Yeah.
readjusted. Um, I've got the primary red, yellow, blue. I've got the secondary orange, purple, and green. And then for tertiary colors, we're going to go in and we're going to make the middle here, which would be yellow, orange. The middle here, which would be red, orange. Then your red, violet. Then your blue, violet. Then your blue, green. And your yellow, green.
Yeah.
And those are going to be your tertiary colors.
Okay.
Um, and if you get like lost or confused, you have your little wheel, but
Good
if
will.
you,
I'm writing it right now
oh, okay,
on my thing.
that works too.
I'm writing it
Um,
on the canvas like
if you get lost in making the tertiary color wheel, just look at your palette paper and look at your canvas and think about what you have on there and what's needed. Right
okay.
now, I've confused myself because I have more lines than I need.
Then you need. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
That's all
go in
right.
and I'm gonna
We'll
go in and
forgive
fill in a
you.
little bit. Yeah, I guess I can fix that. It's not really something that I was like
We'll forgive you.
dire need that I need it to be a certain amount of lines. I just need to
Purples
have room.
and then blues right here. Okay. So paint yellow, paint green, paint blue. Okay. All right. I also like the look of like painting it on the canvas and then having it overlap like intentionally like mix up on the line. That to me is
Yeah.
aesthetically pleasing. So I might try my good old impasto technique and just lay it right on there. Let's see how
Tell
that
you
goes.
what, impasto, you've taught me just based off your interest for that and how many classes we've done on that. Um, that's actually taught me like different methods on how to use the impasto method to
Yeah.
achieve certain things, like, and then watching other artists and how they use the impasto method. And I mean, it's such a messy, 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 messy way to paint, but God, I love it.
I know.
And
I
it's
love
because it
it.
makes them
Ugh,
super thick paintings. It makes everything so
I know.
3D.
But it's also expensive because of the paint, and it's like,
Oh
and then when
yeah.
you try to do like less of a dab, you're like, no, that just doesn't look as textured.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's why he had like reused cake batter or cake icing mix things
Yeah,
and like buckets of paint. I'm like, God, who funds his studio? That's what I want to know.
right.
How can I get to that level?
We're getting there. We're getting there. Class by class, painting by
One
painting.
one circle at a time.
All right. I'm already in like my groove more so than it's just really funny how like whenever I pick up a paintbrush, I'm like, nah. But when I pick up a palette knife, I'm like in it. I'm like, okay, here we go.
And
My
that's
brain
wonderful that
thinks
you're figuring that
thinks
out.
it knows what it's doing. It doesn't, but it just, I don't know, something about it just clicks.
I love it. I love it. That's definitely, the style that you prefer. It's what speaks to you. It's what helps you get your paint on the canvas and conveys what it is you're thinking, feeling, trying to convey, maybe. But it's really wonderful to see that you're growing into that type of artist as well, because um, all I did was be like, yeah, let's do that. Let's paint.
Look at your little color wheels. All right, I'm moving along here, getting it.
Awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with tertiary, and
Okay.
I've got red orange here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and mix. And what I like to do is pull across and just kind of get some of that same color going here, so that I can see what yellow orange looks like next to the red orange, so that I know I'm doing the study justice and I'm actually making yellow orange instead of getting it on the canvas like I needed to turn this in for a grade.
Just sweating, like, gotta get this in
So yeah, so now you can see orange is what was mixed here. And then
here.
I have yellow orange and I have red orange.
Even your palette paper looks beautiful, just want to say.
It's funny how it turns into something, like even a piece of art. So I've started,
Yeah.
told you to take pictures. Well, I also saved my palette paper. And then not only that, like my mom was here with Lucas last week while I was gone. And I have I have these that are full that
Yeah.
I can't get cleaned off. So now they're pieces of art. Now I just got to make something out of them, because I
Love
mean they're
it.
pretty cool looking, and they're
They
painted
are.
with oil paint. Like this is an impasto painting, by the way.
All right.
So I'm gonna go in with my yellow orange here and fill in this triangle. And like you said, overlapping on the yellow is what's going to help us see it sort of transition into that yellow orange. And then same on the orange side here where you're pulling from it. And I guess I feel like what you've got going on with your purple is probably something similar to what I've got going on with my orange, just because lemon yellow is super opaque.
Well, I just want to say I had a moment, I had a good color wheel moment where I needed to put my orange in and I just swooped up some red and I looked at my wheel and I said, okay, red and yellow, swoop it up and mix them together. And now I have orange. So I just used my own color wheel as a reminder about what I was doing.
There you
And
go.
I just went for it.
Is
Did
what
it.
we need. Good job.
Because I know this is like, it's like, oh, colors and in primary school and but it's like, but then you don't really study it. And then you take for granted how colors just exist.
Yep.
And you don't have your, weekly art class or what, well, we do, but most people, so it's like, oh yeah. All right, I'm going blue and red again. Wish me luck, everyone.
You
Wish
got
me
this.
luck.
You got this purple.
Let's go for the other one and just see what happens, just for giggles. What's this one? Just for gigglies. Let's see what we get. Okay. Your little paintbrush is working over there. It's going quick. All right. There we go. I look over and it's just like do 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 do. All right, let's see. What
It
is
comes
gonna
through.
happen? Ew. I keep getting this like, okay, I will say I really love the color, but it's definitely like a gray, but I'm in love with the color. Hold on, let me just show this to you real quick because I don't know what this is. It's like if I messed with it, it would turn into mud, but it's like this
Ooh.
beautiful. grayish. I don't know. And that
That's your
was,
cerulean blue, right?
well, hold on. That was vermilion and cobalt together.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
So I don't know what's happening, but it's okay. We're going to use it and we're just going to pretend it's exactly what we wanted. And we're going to put it right down here.
So you see the trend that you have, the pattern that you've made with your purples is that they're going more gray, and you've
Yeah.
used different blues. So that tells me use a different red and you'll get a different purple.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the only red I have today, but I'll have to
Yeah, just
get more
practice
red.
it.
But
Exactly. Just
that's
get a little
good.
bit
Yeah.
more and
I like
practice.
that. Yeah. I like that. It's not, that was better than what's going on in my mind, which is it's hopeless. You're a failure. But,
Stop it.
you're a failure. You can't make the color purple. Just put it up now. You might as well just walk away.
You're
Um,
hilarious. You can do it,
but
Tiffany. I believe in you.
but yeah,
It's just
I
starting.
think that's a more logical thing is notice the pattern that it's not your blues, it's probably your reds. Get a new red instead of forfeiting your love of art. That's a good point. Good point, Tina. Way to bring me
Yes,
back. Way to bring me back. All
I
right, let me show
love.
you this cute little impasto color wheel with this gray purple.
Oh,
Let me see. Let me get this thing
is this
going.
something that you get to pull tape up off of?
Oh, well, not this one, but eventually, yes,
Okay,
because who knows what's gonna happen. Okay. That was not a
that's
good.
gonna be cool. I love it.
And now I'm gonna mix those in the areas that are open.
Yes, queen.
I did it.
I love it. The impasto, man. I'm
I
just
mean, I
like,
just
meh.
like the little texture. I just love the texture.
It's wonderful. I'm so glad
Mhm.
that you're able to do that and explore into that on your own. And this is the thing that like you think you're not teaching people, Tiffany, but you really are. You know, you're really just telling people, you know what? Just go, just do it. Stop overthinking it
Do your
and
thing. Just
do
get
what's
it
comfortable
done.
for
All right.
you.
Yeah. I mean, I think too, like, that's why, yeah. I mean, you definitely with this class, like, you've made this approachable. I think it's really easy to get overwhelmed with what you don't know, but it's like, if you wait for the when, like, well, when I know this or when I do that, then I just feel like you would never be able to create art because there's always something you're not going to know.
Exactly. And I
Always.
reteach myself every single time we have a class because I like to prepare. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. So I re-educate myself so that I'm certain about what I'm talking about. So it's not that I know a lot of stuff. I've re-educated myself and continue. It's a continual
Yeah.
thing, especially if this is like, my craft and I want to be good at this. You've got to be a subject matter expert and it takes consistency in doing it and practicing it in order for that to actually be a thing. So, um, obviously, the more work you put into it, the time and effort you put into it, the more you're gonna have experience and knowledge and be able to share that. So, this is definitely a really good platform to be able to
Yeah.
continue to re-educate myself to in order to be able to show people because, like, I never really um thought anybody would want to learn this way, but it's super accessible. There's no reason why
Yeah.
anybody couldn't do this. Now Bob Ross was nice enough to make it all free, and all he did is he found a platform to get on there and to show certain things, and he kept his consistently with
Yeah.
what he was painting and how he was painting it and his process and how he started it. So that made people feel a little more comfortable about it when
Yeah.
those types of like educational painting shows came out. And then when you break it down to something like this is stuff that like you can learn obviously from any YouTube video, any Pinterest page. But when you
Yeah.
have people with commonalities and you have people that can explain it and sort of put it on the level where it's easy to understand and not stressful, like the stress of
Yeah.
thinking you have to have some sort of, I don't know, object on your canvas and it has to look that way, like that the
Yeah.
whole stress of that is too much. And
It's
that's why a lot of people don't start. So
yeah. And I think this connection is just like you said, like there's time where it's like I still didn't put my paintbrush on the canvas until like you were like, it's okay, just put your paintbrush on the canvas. Which is funny, but yeah, it's just I think that connection, like, because I've, watched a lot of YouTube videos and I watch, of course I'm on like Insta and Facebook and following a lot of artists, but there's something about real-time connection with someone you trust to like help you navigate and answer your questions. So I really appreciate it because
Um,
ooh, all right. Well. Hmm.
Definitely makes a difference when you can have someone that's like, it's okay, you didn't screw up. We're just gonna work with it.
Gonna work on it. And I got a lot of more circles I can put on this thing if I need to. All right, I've got, ooh, I forgot my green. That's what I forgot. Hmm. All right, now let me get my green there together. Ba, 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 ba.
And I think it's interesting what you've run into with your violet, your purples there,
Yeah,
and learning how those different colors mix with that. I think it's very interesting that like you didn't see it as a roadblock, like you kept going and
yeah. I mean,
not, not only did you like learn, hey, these colors, I'll have to come back to this when I get a different red, but you
yeah.
went from the paintbrush to the impasto. So that's
Like, let
wonderful,
me
my friend.
just don't give. It's like just don't give up. All right.
And sometimes, I have a bunch started, like a bunch of different paintings started because I have to step away in order
Yeah.
to regain perspective on some paintings and then go back to it. Um, so that's okay as well.
Well, so I don't know if you saw my poster and it was like frustration, excitement, that thing. Well, it was one of those thrift store finds canvas that I found that I was painting on top of. And I ended up tossing it, Tina. I ended up tossing it because there was just so many. It was like my practice though of like, I'm gonna make something and scratch it off. Make
Uh,
something and scratch it off. So I was like, I want just the experience of like I'm not gonna keep this thing forever. I'm just gonna do it, and if I don't like it, I'm gonna scrape it off, start over. And I did that so many times that it was just like the canvas was no longer good. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It was
you
like,
just
okay,
deteriorated
you've
it.
had enough. Yeah. So I was just like, all right, well, looks like I'm done with this. And I was like, goodbye. Thank you for the experience.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that's definitely not something I want to see happen frequently because one, that's like expensive, even if you're getting canvas from like thrift stores and stuff.
Yeah,
But two, just to see something through and appreciate it for what it is, like, um, but I think this color theory class will help in like, encouraging me to study more on it because that was the problem is like getting something where you like it and then you add a color and you're like, nope, nope.
yep. I feel that wholeheartedly. Um, I started when I was in Bentonville. I started a painting for Jared's office. We got his desk
Hmm.
together and he needed a painting and we feng shuied his apartment and um his office needed a purple painting. And so he's got a painting there, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Clownfish, in fact, is the name of the painting. That has purple in it that we completely could have used, but I'm like, I want to make you a new one.
Yeah.
So my dingbat butt goes and like, oh, let's get a canvas. I brought paint with me. So I go get a canvas and I start. And in 3 days, I've got 4 layers of paint on this thing. And I'm like, I don't like it yet. It's not done. And I moved it all over his apartment, hanging it in different orientations to kind of get a feel of what it looks like on the wall, but
Yeah.
trying not to get purple paint from this painting all over his apartment.
Yeah.
So it just I started this painting and was like, yeah, I'm not happy with that. I'm not thrilled with that. So now I have something to continue to work on whenever I'm there because when I'm there, he works during the day. So it's definitely it's a good thing to have for myself when I'm there, but the process of like, yeah, that didn't turn out how I wanted it to, so I've got to switch the canvas up, turn it around, add something to
Yeah.
it, and thinking about what I need to add. Like that kind of process is something that that I go through all the time with painting. So it's
all
not
the time.
abnormal, and it's not like your process of getting a thrift store canvas and adding and taking away. That's you learning to let go of what your expectation is on a canvas. And for me, the same process is flipping it, reversing it, turning it,
Yeah.
slapping paint on it, like just getting super physical with it. So so yeah, it's different for a lot of people, but at the same time, it's completely the same like or reorganization of thoughts of what a painting needs to look like on canvas, and how we go about that differently is just interesting. I mean, and coming from like a psychology standpoint, it's incredibly interesting because
Yeah.
not everybody thinks the same. So
Yeah. Well, and I too, like, I mean, I really appreciate that you have that flexibility in these classes too, because if I were to be like, show you my canvas and you're like, well, your circles don't look my circles, or you're doing like that, I probably wouldn't keep showing up, right? Because I'd be like, well, if I can't do exactly what she's doing. But yeah, I definitely feel value. And now I'm really excited because I have all this white space and I have all these circles that I can like work with. And I love and I can appreciate, like, I mean, you said your circles aren't perfect, but like yours look methodical to me. Like yours look very precise to you, right? And so like, and I can definitely appreciate that. And then I also appreciate that I just did this color splat. I'm like so sore, like, which these guys to me, I'm like, they're too flat. You can tell I already added texture right here. I'm like, they're too flat. I'm gonna have to bring them up. So I've already got like all sorts of like ideas, but I definitely am going to apply what you've taught in the class, and like where you've encouraged me to like learn more color terminology and look at videos. And so I'm definitely not going to just like blindly put paint on this one. I am going to use what you taught me and look up some more things and then approach it with some sort of plan. But yeah, I'm excited to layer this thing up.
that's awesome. I'm really glad you went with the impasto on that. Taking pictures of your color wheel, and then when you get to a point where you're doing a color study, like I was talking about with Gogh, and we will get
Yeah.
to that point.
Yeah.
Um, you're gonna have both of these things in your studio to refer to,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's going to help you. I promise you, it is going to help you.
Yeah.
Now, I want to show you so that imperfection is the key here.
It's there.
About
You're like,
nothing is even on this, but from far away, it's a Monet.
I love it. I love it. From a distance.
But I want you to feel completely comfortable with how you're adding your color to your canvas. Everybody should feel this way whenever they're in a painting course. That's the purpose of this course, is to feel
Yeah.
completely comfortable. So hopefully this will help people realize perfection is not the goal here. It is definitely 100% just getting comfortable with, hey, I
Yeah.
think I want to try to paint. How do I start that?
Yeah. Well, and I think too, like having this, I think this is going to be like a color board for reference, where it's like, if I have an idea, I can just put a couple swatches on here and have it for reference next to my color wheel. So yeah, I'm excited because I'm excited about where this is going to go. So, and I have a nail. I'm actually going to hang this up outside so it dries a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. It's kind of hot. Maybe it'll melt the paint. I'm not sure, but that'll add some character, right?
It will. If you lay it flat, honestly, if you set it up on its side, I've never seen oil paint melt in the sun. It actually helps it dry. So,
Challenge
you
accepted.
let me know what your experience brings out for you, because I'm interested to know if it actually melts it. I just haven't gone.
Well, we also have a little bird that lives on our porch. So I'm like, at some point, I might see little like tiny paint bird footprints all over the place. I'm not sure, but we'll
That's
see.
funny. Yeah, I mean, it's a total possibility. Sometimes I find like if I leave a painting outside to dry, I'll find like sticks and dirt in it because of the wind. I just I just paint over top of it and leave it on there. I don't even worry about it.
You're like, welcome to the painting stick. All right. Well, we are at time. So we're going to stop the recording here in a little bit. I just want to say thank you again, Tina, for continuing to host these classes. I thoroughly enjoy them. And I look forward to them each and every Sunday at 3:30. And I'll be joining the other 2 Sunday classes in April for sure. And we'll be posting what May, June, and July focus will be for the classes. So we'll get those new classes up and posted, and the focus as well. So keep a lookout for those. And Tina and I are always rooting for you and your artwork. All right, everybody, take care. Bye.